Hello and welcome to Northwest Knitting. My name is Kathy and this is my knitting podcast where I talk about my knitting projects, yarns that I love, and my journey toward making sustainable clothing. I'm coming to you from Eugene, Oregon in the Willamette Valley, and it is very cold here right now with plenty of opportunity to wear the wooliest of woolly wools. We haven't had snow, but they keep threatening. So maybe by the time this is up, we'll be covered. Who knows? You can find me on Instagram and on Ravelry as Northwest Knitting, and everything I talk about will be in the show notes below. Welcome to all of you. It's been a little while since I've been here. I've had a heck of a time recording this, partly because I'm at the end of a cold, and I can be fine in the house, and all of a sudden I start talking and I'm coughing, and it's very annoying. So we'll give it another go here today. We also have some joyful news. We were gone for a while because our new granddaughter was born. Her name is Esme, and she's quite beautiful. Everyone is well, and we're just absolutely over the moon with her. So that was delightful. Then there were the holidays, and we had company, and we went and visited my father, and it's just been a busy time. And the good news is my back is a lot better. So that seems to be good, and I can go walk again, which I'm slowly building up again to go on those real long walks Dennis and I were taking before all this happened. So anyway, so there's some beautiful news, and I'm super happy to be back here talking to you. What I'm going to talk about today is I have two smaller finished projects, a whip that's almost finished, plans for something else, and I also have a new book, The Doodle Directory by Lomax, that I'm going to talk about. I'm just going to move this ever so slightly. And then I have two book recommendations at the end. So I'm going to try and speed it up a little bit so I don't run out of recording space and so I don't annoy you with coughing. Anyway, right now I am wearing the Purl Soho Bandana Cowl. I've talked to you about it before. It's a free pattern. I've made it before with all kinds of, I think usually as a gift item. This is the first time I've made one for myself. And I use the Junction fiber mill making tracks. They're a fiber mill from Vermont, and they use yarn for this that is a combination of merino, targhee, and Corriedale. It's DK weight, and I think it's super soft. I don't find any prickle here. So it would be great as in a colorwork sweater, much the same way as the Entropy DK, that other yarn that I like so much. This is, I think it's 210 yards, so I think it's a little more expensive than the Entropy, but it's super pretty, and I'll show you the shape of the cowl here. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. This is the one side, and here is the shape of it. So you start down at the tip and do a little bit, and then you join in the round, and yeah, really simple pattern. I know because I cast it on New Year's Eve when I was hanging out with a group of people, and I was having a lot of fun, but it was getting harder to stay awake, so I cast this on, and I'm pretty sure I finished it the next day, maybe, very quickly. So very fun project, and I had this one skein of this colorful yarn, and it was a great choice. It would make a great gift, obviously. Oh, and I also should say that I'm wearing one of the Ranunculus that I made, and I made this out of the Berocco Ultra Alpaca, and I talk about that in episode 19 if you're interested. But it's super comfy. The Ultra Alpaca is warm but light, and I think this is my favorite one. I've done 3, and I could see doing another one for sure. So anyway, it's cold. Put this back on here. Okay, let me tell you, my next project is a pair of socks, and these are made out of the West Yorkshire Spinners Signature 4-ply. It's one of their bird colorways. I think they have 8 to 10 bird colorways. This one is Mallard, and you can see it's got some green and blue and browny colors. Super enjoyable to do these if you haven't done the self-patterning. Really fun. I use some scrap yarn for the heels and the toes. It is a short row heel that I did, and I used some other scrap here, which wasn't sock yarn, and really it's a single ply, and fortunately a friend caught me doing this, and I switched to this has nylon. It's a more suitable. If it's not nylon, then it really should be spun in a way that will be sturdier. I really enjoyed doing these socks. I think partly a lot because of the yarn. Also, I did the strategy of I knit one pair down here, put it on holder, did the other pair down to there, and then I did turn the heel. So I knew when I finished one sock, I would go back to the other sock. So yeah, I think I might have turned a corner, possibly with small circumference knitting. So anyway, that's really fun. The pattern I used is by Ailbionna McLochlainn. She designed the pattern to be very different from what I did. Her pattern is called Tweed Party Socks, and it's designed to mimic a commercially made sock that is sold in Ireland. It's very popular with tourists apparently, and it has bright colorwork tweed, you know, like one color here, another color here, heels and toes. I really liked how it looked, bought the pattern, and then realized that I do not have any yarn that would look anything like her pattern is intended. So I ended up just using what I had here. And do I still have it here? No, I've put it away, but I had quite a bit of this yarn left, and I could see making another pair, maybe with some color work and then adding in some stripes from this yarn. Who knows, but I really do have quite a bit. So it comes, I could have made it longer if I wanted to. This is fine, totally fine. In length, obviously, the sock blockers think so, but I could have made it another inch or so, and I might have liked that. So anyway, I'm not a big sock knitter, but who knows? We could be going that way. I did find, I may have talked to you about this, one sock, never made the other sock, made these, oh my gosh, maybe 3 years ago with these two colors using helical knitting, a vanilla sock pattern. I'm not even sure what I used. So I am hoping, this is a nice sock and I would like to make a partner because I think I'd wear it quite a bit. So anyway, okay, so now let me tell you what I'm making. Oh, I have had a baby sweater on the needles, but it's I was making pants, baby pants, and I realized these are huge for this baby, so I put them aside and I'm hoping to cast on a little tiny baby sweater for this tiny baby. So that's one thing. When we went to, when my granddaughter was born, we ended up spending 2.5 weeks. We rented an Airbnb, and we spent a lot of time with the family and did a lot of baby care and socializing. So I wasn't in a place where I was, I probably could have at night, but then I got a cold. Anyway, long story. But I just haven't been knitting that much, but I have this project, which I might have showed you last time, which is a vest, another vest. This is by Ailbionna McLochlainn. It's her LOMST, LOMST. It stands for Looking Over My Shoulder Tank. It's a basic vest pattern. It's a saddle shoulder. I don't know if you could see that on here. And you have several choices. You could do a classic shoulder length, which is just the the usual end at the shoulder vest, or you could do a long line. You could do a fold over crew neck, or you can do a longer neck. So I'm still fiddling around with the neck. My gauge is way off because of that. Her pickup recommendations for the ribbing have too many stitches, so I've had to go back, and I did the ribbing here, but I'm gonna go back because it is flaring a little bit out, and I know it'll drive me crazy. So I'm gonna go back, pick up fewer stitches and tighten that up, and that's also what I had to do with the neck here. And also the reason it's taking me so long, it's a very straightforward vest pattern because I am making it into a tunic, and I have added pockets here. I haven't tacked these down yet so that this will tighten up, but I just love putting the contrasting color in there. So I'm making this to come to about the middle of my thigh. I did this, if you follow me, you know that previously I did the Peary Shop cardigan as a tunic, and I was just super, I really love that, and I wear it all the time. So I think this is going to be really warm, toasty, and nice over leggings. So the yarn I'm using, I think I told you about it last time. This is the Donegal yarn. No, it's made by Donegal yarn, but it's Studio Donegal, Aran Tweed. And the contrast color I use, Studio Donegal, Soft Donegal. This is definitely crunchier yarn, but my swatch shows that it softens up nicely. So I bought this thinking I'd make a sweater, and I just didn't buy enough. I don't know what I was thinking. It only has 87 yards or so in each skein, and I got it confused with the soft Donegal, which has a lot more yardage. But anyway, I'm gonna be happy with the tunic, and I think I will use most of this yarn. So anyway, that has been kind of an easy, straightforward knit, and I'm almost finished. So the next time I see you, I should be wearing it. Okay, the next thing, oh dear, I hope this is working okay. I was running out of storage space earlier, so it should be fine, but okay. Okay, the next thing is I signed up for, I have such a rotten track record with cows, knit-alongs, but you never know. I might, really do it this time. I signed up for the Woolly Thistle Colorwork Accessories cow, and what I'm doing is some, I call them fingerless mitts. I'm using a pattern out of the 1 Year with Wiola Cardigans by Kristin Wiola Odegard. This is an ebook that I bought. I think I've mentioned it before. She has quite a few sweater patterns that are really beautiful, including the Agnes cardigan that Corrine at Woolly Thistle made, and now they sell kits for. Well, I got the book, and I haven't made a sweater yet, but I thought I'd try with an accessory and see if her instructions work for me. And so I'm doing these fingerless mitts. She calls them Farger Pa Pulsen. Colors of the Pulse is the translation. The ebook is in English, and I bought it as an ebook because that was the only English version I could get. And she calls them pulse warmers. They're knit from the wrist up toward the fingertips. Now, normally, if I showed a picture of fingerless mitts, I would have this the bottom of my hand, and I'd have this the top. And she has it just absolutely upside down. So isn't that funny that, so anyway, I was looking at this and I kept thinking, is this the top or the bottom? But anyway, this is where the fingertips are, right here, which I figured out from the chart. So she uses 11 different colors. Partly she gets all these colors by mixing in some mohair here and there. I can't imagine I'll use 11, but you never know. And I'm hoping to do this because I can be so clenched up with color work, choosing the colors. And I'm hoping that if I, pick a bunch of these different colors, that maybe I can loosen up and start playing with the color work. That's my hope. Anyway, they look really sweet, and I could use a pair of fingerless mitts. So I'm assuming these would go down quite a little ways. I don't know how many. Anyway, so unless you're not going to look at the pattern unless you have, she doesn't have the chart numbered, but you're not going to do it unless you buy the ebook, but it is a lovely ebook. I have to say that. So that is one of my plans for the future. The other thing is I wanted to talk to you about a book I just got in the mail. It's the Doodle Directory by Jamie Lomax. And I have thought about, I think I bought a pattern of hers around the holiday. My local yarn store was selling the book, and Jamie also sells decks of cards that are charts with all kinds of subjects. Like you can get one for farm or botanical or Halloween or travel. You can get Paris, London. There's just so many of them. Jungle, sports now she has. Anyway, what grabbed me was this infinity cowl on the front. And I've been kind of following her for a while. I did start one of her cowls and something happened. It wasn't the fault of the cowl, the pattern at all. And I've been enjoying seeing her. She's from Seattle, so I've really been following her for a while, and it's kind of exciting to see someone go from starting with simple cowls and coming out with this book. And all these cards, they're really a great idea. She's certainly not the first person to come out with a stitch, basically not a stitch dictionary, but a chart dictionary. But I just do think it's kind of a great idea. So here's some of hers. So what she does is she gives you, there's 200 mix and match motifs, and she gives you the basic, she gives you several basic patterns. And one starts with a very simple cowl. So I'm going to show you, I'm going past all, I can't show you the charts, but she has these pattern recipes. So first she starts with what she calls the Doodle cowl. It's just a very simple cowl. So you could start there, and especially if you were new to color work, no increases, decreases, you knitting around, and you can make it any length you want, but you can mix her charts. So, you know, here's a different chart, here's a different chart. Some of them are cute little representative creatures, like there's sheep and cats and some farm animals, but you would have plenty to experiment with. And here's her infinity cowl, which again could be any size. You could make it very long. This is the Doodle scarf, and I could see doing this as an infinity cowl because I do really like those. I like those colors against the light yarn. I think it's real pretty. She has a hat. And these hats come in child sizes to adults. Same thing with the cowl, actually. She has two little kids of her own, and I think that's, she has a headband. Here's her wearing the headband. Lots of instructions here. Simple mittens and fingerless mitts. So you could just pick all kinds of, designs here. It would be really, so what got me into this is I thought, oh, it would be fun to do mitts or socks for the grandkids, with some little, a cat or whatever. So she has a DK pair of socks, and she has fingering weight socks. So you can see with all of these, she's using a combination of motifs on her chart. She also follows with I looked at them pretty carefully, and I think, and I just love, that there are some, I think she has toddler and baby, and then different sizes, adult sizes. And then at the end, she has a lot of different kind of basic advice for accomplishing these. She has cast on techniques. Actually, one of them I was going to use for some toe up socks. She has Judy's Magic cast on. She has magic loop, stranded colorwork ideas, wrap and turn, basic stitches, decreases, increases, finishing techniques. She has a provisional cast on, which you use for the infinity cowl. So it's really got a lot in here. Now, if you don't want to buy it, I'm going to cough, I can tell. I'm so sorry. If you didn't want to buy it, if you go on her Ravelry store, she sells, you can buy a pattern for cowls, and some of her doodle cowls come with 20 or 30 of the chart. So if you get her holiday one, or I think she might have a Valentine one, or you can, if you buy her pattern, you will get all these charts, and it's like a $7 pattern. So if you wanted to try out what she's doing, you could do that. So I could have done that. I thought about doing that. And I think one day before the holidays, or maybe after the holidays, I was feeling a little low. And even though I tried very hard not to do retail therapy anymore, I think it might have been that. But I'm real pleased with it. And I would like to give some of these a try. The other thing she sells is just the blank pattern. So you can buy the blank infinity cowl, and you could buy some of her decks. I forget what the price is on the decks, but if you get a deck of like holiday motifs around the Christmas holiday and Halloween and all these others, you do get a lot of her motifs. So I don't know if they start repeating over time. The ones that I really liked, I do really like these leaves, and you know, she has a bunch of floral. I just thought they were super nice. They kind of remind me of the tapestry cowl that Corinne at Woolly Thistle designed. I like the idea, you know, I was mentioning before. I think this would be fun with the kids. She has a heart. You could do something like this for Valentine's Day. It's just, these are, excuse me, penguins here. So anyway, I thought I would mention that since I just got it. Okay, I think I'm gonna wrap this up with some book recommendations, so that's the end of the knitting right now. I will say I'm hoping to come back sooner after this long break. And as far as I know, there isn't anything on the horizon that will stop me. I just hope you're doing well. I'd love to hear what you're knitting right now. There's so many exciting things out there. I've been a little frustrated. I don't have a sweater on the needles. I have a number of things planned with the yarn queued up, but I've been so bad about following through. I think I will wait till next time to share some of those ideas with you. And I'm hoping I'll have my vest all finished. So let me tell you about the 2 books that I read. One of them is The Mighty Red by Louise Erdrich. It's she's a fabulous writer. She's written so many books. I've read quite a few of them, and I'm sure I've mentioned some here before. These characters, some of the characters work on a sugar beet farm in Minnesota, and I believe this is where Erdrich herself is from. She usually has a character who is Ojibwe, and in this case, there is a young man who, one of the premises of the story, there's a young man, he has a very troubled history. He decides that, but he's very popular, kind of the man about town, and he decides that he wants to marry this young woman. She's part Ojibwe, and so there's a lot about love, young love. There's some other complications with her family that are, some of it's a little wild and crazy. I really enjoyed the book. There's a lot in there that's quite serious, but somehow I feel like she has a light touch. And so even though there are some sad things that happen, it doesn't, to me, it felt easier. And life is tough, so you can't be reading about, if we weren't reading about anything that was sad, then there's no plot. So I really did enjoy it. It is a brand new book. And if you don't want to spring for the new book, you could, order it from your library, and or you could read one of her earlier books. But I did enjoy it, and I wanted to tell you about it. The other book that I read that I enjoyed very much, and I just love the writing in this book, is Time of the Child by Niall Williams. And this is a book, like the book he wrote just previous to this one. That one was called This Is Happiness. And it also takes place in the same town, a fictional town in Ireland called Farger. And it's definitely not a sequel. I think there might be 1 or 2 characters that repeat, but you wouldn't absolutely don't need to read the previous book. But I did like This Is Happiness. I probably reviewed it at some point. This one, the premise is, and this is on the book jacket, so I'm not giving it away. It focuses on a doctor in town. So he has a very particular and somewhat peculiar relationship with people in town. He's the only doctor, and he, in some ways, is set apart by that. And with him lives his daughter, who has not married, and he has a lot of feelings of concern that he might have been responsible for her not getting married. Well, at some point in the story, some people come to him and bring him a newborn baby. And it all takes place right before Christmas. This newborn baby comes, and it's all about what happens next. I really enjoyed it. At sometimes his writing is beautiful, and sometimes I know there was some place in the middle where I kind of bogged down a little, mostly because I was thinking, what happens with the baby? I really wanted to know. And so then I start speeding up. But when I finished the book, I went back and started rereading it, and just really enjoyed it, and I think I might even enjoy it more a second time when I'm not worried about what the thrilling conclusion is. But really enjoyed that book. Okay, I think I will finish for now. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'm going to try and start posting a little bit more, because well, for a couple reasons. One is I enjoy this so much. Secondly, if you stop, then on the algorithms, you literally start disappearing. It's really weird. But I do have more to talk about, and I am very looking forward to talking to you very soon. And I hope you are doing well, and happy knitting.